here we go. All right, guys, I'm going to give us a couple minutes I'm going to give us a little bit to have some people come in. Hello. And I'm going to tweet out that we're live. I am alive, thorn-covered boy. I've been here. Didn't you get any of the notifications? And apparently I can't post links because I'm dumb. All right, guys. Let me pull up my handy dandy notes as we get settled in here. Oh, let me go to live chat because I'm on top chat currently. Same thing. Great. All right. So like the title says, we're going to get into and we're going to be discussing Season 3, Episode 4 of Riverdale, The Midnight Club. Please let me know if you guys have watched already, so hopefully we can talk a little bit about everything that's been going on. Otherwise, I'll just be recapping for you guys. All right, so we're going to start where the episode starts, and that starts with everybody at Riverdale High is now addicted to this game. Griffins and Gargoyle has taken over the school. Everybody has booklets, and while all the adults are trying to take them away, it's not going so well. And this means Hermione has to come to the school, and she has to show up to everyone and be like, enough with this game. We have a ban on this game. No more playing it. It's dangerous, and everyone doesn't care. They don't care at all. They're just like, our lives are in mortal danger. More like our lives are in danger of having too much fun. Hermione's gone so far to set up a crisis hotline. So I guess that's Tom's new job because he's not sheriff anymore. Now he gets to be a crisis hotline manager. So that doesn't last for very long, that conversation. And, you know, this whole episode is set up to be the big flashback episode of the season where we get to finally find out the past of all the parents and everything. And I was really excited to see this because, you know, I do really enjoy the parents on the show. I think they have some very interesting plots, and it's really good to kind of learn more about them. Did you guys enjoy learning more about the parents? Let me know if you did, because I certainly did. I thought this episode was really good. I really enjoyed kind of learning more of how the parents became the people that they are. And how this game profoundly affected them to the point that they ended up changing a lot about themselves in the process of playing it. And of course, there's a bunch of background noise now. Thanks, Mom and Dad. So Betty and Veronica get to talking in the blue and gold office. And of course, Veronica mentions that she's not gonna get on the cover of Vibes magazine, just doing anything. I do always love the work around names Riverdale has to avoid like copyright issues. It's not Forbes, it's Vibes. It's not Kool-Aid, it's Fresh Aid. I just always find it really funny. And then whoever sponsors them is like a name drop. It's like, oh, here we are on Instagram with a here's that CoverGirl. Are you using the mascara, y'all? Where's your CoverGirl mascara? Hello, Matthew. What happened? We're talking about the episode now. A lot happened, in fact, as we're about to get into. So Betty and Veronica are talking, and they're like, "Are you playing the game? Are you playing the game?" And Betty's like, "I'm not playing the game. We're not playing the game." Veronica's like, "Oh, good. Me and Archie aren't playing the game either." Well, Archie can't play because he's in prison. And I don't think they'd be able to slip poison. I don't know if if the Gargoyle King's reach is far enough to hit juvie. But their conversation is quickly interrupted because the coroner has to call Betty, and the coroner is here to say that, well, this isn't the first case of this happening. It happened in 1990 blank, because they don't want to tell us exactly what happened. They leave the date a little ambiguous, but as we learn, it's definitely the early 90s. You could tell that by the fashion, and you could tell that by the wonderful, wonderful little credit sequence that replaced our usual dark, dreary Riverdale over a moody lake. Now it was 90s pop art, Saved by the Bell realness, which I loved. Who doesn't love a little Saved by the Bell realness? So Betty decides to confront her mother with everything that's happening. She decides to confront her mother and ask, you know, this happened in the past. This happened when you were in high school. What's the deal with this? And surprising me, Alice actually agreed to be like, because Alice has been a shitty parent so far. She was terrible last episode to her daughter, being dodgy and telling her, I don't trust you, blah, 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 because of whatever own issues she has going on in her head, which is stupid as well. Parents are being stupid last episode. This episode, I like them a lot more. Like, my love for them is back, but last episode, they were trash. Trash. All right, so Betty asks her mother, what happened? And Alice agrees to tell her, and we go back in time. It is 1990-something, and we are about to figure out how everything went down back then. And to start off, we start off with Alice going through school. She's a tough, badass, serpent-side chick and proud of it. She wears her jacket with pride as she walks through the halls. But she's a lonely girl. She doesn't really have any friends or anything like that. And we find this out as she goes into the bathroom, and she decides to take a pregnancy test, and she finds out that she is pregnant from one of her hookups with F.P. Jones. And F.P. Jones makes her knees weak and maybe some other things weak, if you know what I mean, if you know what I'm saying. But Betty is over that pretty quickly. So, just to, of course, we have to mention this, that the kids on the show are playing the adults. So Betty is playing Alice in the past, or rather Lily is playing young Alice, and KJ Apa is playing young Fred, Camilla is playing young Hermione, Cole is playing young FP, Ashley is playing young Sierra, etc., as we go on in the list. And we saw some faces I didn't expect to see. And we also saw some faces that we knew was coming, but was also very interesting to see. Mark Consuelos' son, I believe his name is Michael, was playing Hiram in the show. He looks dead on just like him. I think they did a pretty good job with making them look like their adult counterparts, especially since they have so many references. So that was really fun to see. So Alice comes out of the bathroom. We see that she's pregnant, and rebelling schoolgirl, Catholic schoolgirl, Hermione is there, and so is young Sierra. And we kind of learn a bit about how all of them are back then. Sierra, which I think definitely makes sense with her going on to become a lawyer later on. And then, well, Alice was completely different. As we see, she was the badass South Side girl that we never would have guessed in the beginning of season 1. And then, of course, Penelope Blossom comes in. And Penelope isn't playing any games. She is your typical teacher's pet, snitch, hall monitor, all those good, juicy stereotypes. All of it. But for Penelope is kind of like, oh, you're pregnant. So she kind of knows the secret. Sierra kind of knows, but Sierra is like not interested in that plot at all. She's like, don't care, whatever. But Hermione is a little invested, even though they're not really friends. But it turns out FP, as we learn, is a player. He is hiding his roots. No one knows that he lives on the South Side. He pretends that he's something he's not. Or he's pretending who he wants to be. Take it as you will. And Fred is the Fred we know and love, except he is a little more free and a little less. He's still even-headed, of course, and good, but he's a little more willing. He's more of a teenager and doing what teenagers do. That's the best way I can describe it, really. So Penelope is asking for a hall pass. Alice isn't having any of it. She slaps the shit out of her, which was shocking as hell. And then Penelope, which surprised me, but also makes sense, knowing what we know of Penelope, is that she slaps her right back and they get into a whole fight. And of course, they all get detention. Hermione, Penelope, Alice, and Sierra are all thrown into detention. Hello, River Vixen 9. We're just getting into the episode, into the flashback scenes. I'm going to try and keep this brief today. I do have a bit of a headache, but we're going to plow on through this. Marty Mantle is here, and he's egging on FP to go streak because it's a bulldog tradition, even though for some reason... Oh, I just thought about this. Okay, we're going to skip ahead a little bit in the episode. But we learn that FP has a terrible, shitty home life with an abusive parent. And what we also learn is, so now that I'm thinking about it, he has a broken arm, and we learn that his dad's abusive. So did his dad break his arm, and that's why he has a broken arm? This isn't revealed to us, but this is going to be my theory for this episode. Hello, Supersonic fan 7443. How are you doing tonight? Oh, this episode gave you chills, River Vixen. Why did it give you chills? But I thought it was really funny that we saw FP and Fred go streak, and that tells us a little bit about their wild days, which is actually really fun to watch. And of course, that lands them in detention. So this is how our Midnight Club is brought together for the episode. The girls got into a fight, which Alice was really there for the fight, y'all. She was ready to beat down. Her roots came through. I need to see the Alice of today also fight. Broken bones are not fun. I have actually never broken a bone, so I can't really speak about that. But, casts, potentially crutches. It's not easy. Your mobility is limited, or you're hindered from being able to do things. You gotta wrap the cast if you want to shower and it gets itchy. Ooh, yeah, that bathroom scene that we're going to get into later was spooky. So all of them land in detention, and the principal is played by Anthony Michael Hall. Hello, my words are all mixed up tonight. Who was in the original Breakfast Club movie, of which we know, of course, this episode is paying homage to. I do like John Hughes films. Breakfast Club is actually one of my favorite John Hughes films. I also really enjoy Ferris Bueller. Let me know any John Hughes films that you guys like. If you have a favorite that you like, you can tell me in the comments below or tell me in the chat. Let me know. Oh, we're going to talk about that ending. Best believe we're going to talk about that ending. Because it is setting us up very nicely for next week. So, principal gives them an assignment, and their assignment is to write a 1,000-word essay on one page of loose leaf, which is impossible unless you're writing microscopic. If anyone has ever written a paper for school before, you'll know you can type 500 words and that's one page, single spaced. It takes at least 2 pages to write 1,000 words. So how are they going to write a 1,000-word essay on one page of loose leaf front and back? That ain't happening, palsy. It's just not possible to put that gif in. River Vixen, I did watch American Horror Story. I watched season 1 and 2, like, religiously. Those are my 2 favorite, and I think they're the 2 best seasons. But I did watch season 3 as well, and most of 4. 5 was where I kind of was like, even though it had Lady Gaga. But I don't currently watch, but I feel like I might watch the Apocalypse season because of the crossover, and I hear that it is very good. I have been sort of keeping up with it through some recaps, though, because I just like to know what's going on in shows. I find it interesting. Well, I will definitely let you know if I do check it out. They're all hanging out in detention, and of course, Tom Keller decides to show up, and Sierra and Tom were, like, super cute back in the day. Corey Cott and actually really did a good job as that, and I thought their chemistry was, like, super cute. And I was disappointed, but it also made sense finding out later why exactly they didn't work out, because it's very typical. It's very typical of prejudices of, you know, your parents. You know, you can be friends with these people, but they don't want you to date someone, like, outside of your race. That's, like, a kind of common thing, and I think that still even happens today, which is sad and sucky, but it's a real thing. So they all kind of come to the decision that none of them know each other, and that's how all those secret revealing things start. Hermione's talking about how her mother is a maid, essentially working at the 5 Seasons, and she, you know, doesn't have a very extravagant life at all, and she admires Hiram because she sees him as a very much she sees Hiram as a self-starter, and she's into that, and we see that early on. Which is interesting, knowing how things are now. Absolutely. It's just like, you kind of see all the pieces connect. I think this episode did a really good job of kind of connecting the pieces of the past and bringing them to now, and also previous things we've seen, and kind of tying it all together in a neat little bow and kind of wrapping up some continuity stuff. So I think they did a good job with all of that, and us seeing that transition kind of helps us fill in the blanks. So apparently Fred is just like Archie, and he was having such a hard time back in the day choosing between not football. He did baseball and music because they got to be different a little bit. So he's choosing between those things, but we find out that Fred's dad is actually really sick, and my heart hurt for Fred when we found that out. It was sad. I was upset hearing that, and hearing that Fred's been taking care of him. But of course, that's what Fred was doing because he's a sweet guy. Hermione's Catholic schoolgirl act made me laugh. It was interesting. It was really fun seeing, you know, the actors play, like, different roles because their parents were so different from them. And to see how different the parents were back in the day, like Hermione was a complete 180. Pretty much. So was Penelope. We have to talk about Penelope because that was some ish. That was also what was revealed during the Secret Circle, so good timing. Penelope is a Blossom already because she was adopted by the Blossoms to essentially be groomed to marry Clifford Blossom when she grew up. What the F? The Blossoms are screwed up in the head. The Blossoms are screwed up in the head. I did not know that Sonic was 15 years old. No wonder people have so many original OCs of him. I mean, it's not technically incest, but it's definitely gross because they groomed a child to marry their son in the future. It was weird, and Riverdale went there, and I was not expecting that. It was weird. It's interesting to know that Penelope was adopted, and then to see her own like hatred for Cheryl. Like, what the? Was she grooming her children? Was she? I can't. I can't go down this rabbit hole, or it's gonna be too much. But that was a lot to take in. That was a what WTF OMG moment for me, and I was just like, I couldn't do it. But Hermione and Penelope start to get into it, sniping at each other because Penelope's like, I'd do anything to like get away, have a different life, have a fabulous life, all these things. And Hermione's like, I don't want to be scrubbing toilets. And they just go at it because apparently Penelope's a fighter. Penelope will fight you. So, of course, because of this fight, this lands everyone for more detentions. They have 4 detentions, so that's a whole month of coming in every Saturday for 8 hours for an entire school day, essentially, to serve detention. Did they have to write more essays every weekend? I mean, apparently the essays don't matter, though, because there didn't seem to be any consequences for not finishing them, and they could just screw around. And through, of course, these 4 detentions, they all become friends, and soon after breaking into the teacher's desk, they find the game. The game itself, Griffins and Gargoyles. Now, at first, they're just like, we have nothing to do. Let's play the game. They kind of take a look through the book, and they're like, let's go. Let's do it. Yeah, Penelope is an interesting character. She's ready to fight, and I did like the line she said a little bit later. I just wanted to cause a little chaos, so we can kind of see where parts of her are in Cheryl, even though they're also very different. They all decide to play the game, and quickly we see them start to become obsessed with it. All the kids become obsessed with it. They pick their roles. And of course, Penelope has to be the game master. This is an episode where we're all for Penelope. But Sierra decides to be a siren because she's a voice for the people, as she says. Fred is the Radiant Knight. FP is the Deadeye, so he's like the sharpshooter of the gang. I forget what... Oh, wait, I remember. Alice was the sorceress, but I forget what Hermione was. If anyone remembers what Hermione was, please let me know, because I forgot to write it down. So the more and more they get into the game, the more they start wanting to do more of it, and they want to go off the board game. So seeing how the parents kind of got into it kind of connects the pieces for us, too, about how Dilton, Ben, and Ethel kind of got really, really into this game and how they eventually got that far. For somehow the game seems to get into your head. And I would like to see maybe someone who has a background in like psychology or, behavior, maybe philosophy. I'm just throwing out certain subjects here, but like from an academic point of view, maybe someone would be able to kind of tell why this game would be so addictive. and kind of looking at what we've seen of the game and how it affects, people's behavior and mind. I think that would be really interesting. Hello, JM. Hi. Oh, I like your emojis. They're very cute. Hello, Mooniverse. If you watched our ending and beginning video where I talk about everything that happened with the channel, we will not be continuing with any Attack on Titan or Dead Note reactions because, well, the channel is me now, and it's not really reaction oriented as much anymore. We're definitely doing recaps and talking about topics still, but we're parting with Attack on Titan, just to state that. Oh, you've never been here, JM? Welcome. I'm glad you're here. Hello, Dream. It surprised me to find out that Hermione knew Alice was pregnant. It surprised me too. I was surprised, but I was surprised she knew, and I was surprised she knew it was FP. But I guess it really doesn't have much bearing because even today, Hermione and Alice really don't have any contact with each other. So I guess they kind of took that secret to the grave in a way. Sorry, y'all. It's like cold and allergy season, and I keep coughing, and it's terrible. Penelope decides to cause some chaos, and she decides to pair the couples up. Now, this is where I thought things were going to go a little haywire and be all the hooky-uppy stuff that they led us to believe was going to happen. So she sends FP and Hermione off together, and she sends Fred and Alice off together. Only one of these couples hooks up. So we see FP and Hermione actually find the gem that they were sent out to look for as part of the game. And this is something that Penelope actually came up with, which was very creative of her, I must say. But they were working well together, and they get kind of close. And Hermione, because she knows about Alice, she's like, you should go talk about that. And FP's trying to save face, like, oh, I wasn't going to kiss you. And she's like, boy, I know you're a player. Don't play a player, because it doesn't work. Hello, Charmed Original. Welcome. Who do we think killed Principal Featherhead? Well, that's what we're going to get to soon. It's a very interesting way they've set this up. So I'm excited to kind of talk about that once we get there, because we are kind of going in chronological order. Ooh, Dream. I like that too. I kind of hope the Midnight Club reunites in present time. I would like to definitely see them come together and take down whoever the Gargoyle King is. The way they've set it up is that it is one of the Midnight Club members. But my question to you guys is, do you really think that it is a member of the Midnight Club, or could it have been someone else? Could it have been some of the members on the other little squad of like Marty Mantle, Daryl Dilton, Tom Keller, and Hiram Lodge. I was like, is this Hiram too? Is Hiram also the Gargoyle King? Because he just can't be good at anything. He can't be good at all. I mean, he's good at being an evil mastermind. Ooh, I like that theory, Charmed Original. Charmed Original said, I think Hiram was trying to poison Fred because he was getting close with Hermione. All right, so while FP and Hermione doesn't go anywhere at all, Fred and Alice actually kind of does go somewhere. And the reason it happens is because they're having a little heart-to-heart, because I'm going to adjust this a little bit. There we go. Fred and Hermione are having, no, not Fred and Hermione, Fred and Alice are having a heart-to-heart because they got paired up for the game. And instead of looking for this gem, they decide to talk about, why they're invested in the game. It's because it gives them an escape from their terrible lives. In fact, Alice is living on the South Side. I wish we had gotten a little bit more of Alice's life on the South Side in this episode, because while we did get a really good picture of her, We didn't learn anything about her home life, and I feel like that would inform so much about Alice. My theory was that she most likely grew up in some sort of abusive household in one way or the other. And it turns out FP kind of had the same upbringing, which very much explains his mode of parenting with Jughead. And it's very much, I see the cycle of abuse, even though FP is trying to not be that guy. There's definitely elements of that there, I think. And then Fred and Alice proceed to hook up for one time and one time only. All right, River Vixen said, Riverdale in a nutshell, OMG creepy stuff. Betty plus Shovel, incest, OMG, is that the guy from Scream? I hate Hiram. Archie has no real problems. Oh wait, Archie's in jail. Archie has a lot of problems these days, but he didn't have any this episode because we didn't see them. I hope it's going well for Archie. I really do. All right. Fred was really soft, and I loved Fred this episode. Fred continues to be a #1 Riverdale parent, of course. So we see the adults get more and more and more sucked into playing this game. In fact, they sneak into school to play the game. I guess that makes sense because it's the only real place they have in common, because otherwise they really don't have any other place in common besides the fact that they all go to school together. This episode made me feel bad for the parents too. I feel like it really explained where they came from, and I was pissed at FP and Alice a lot last episode. This softened me very quickly because I always go back and forth. Like, I generally tend to like them a lot, but then they'll do something and I'm just like annoyed. I like that they started LARPing. They essentially broke into the drama club costume closet, which conveniently had outfits for all their roles, which was nice. And then they find out that they're not the only ones playing Griffins and Gargoyles, because there's the other little group we mentioned before. And they were playing as well. And then they all kind of decide to come together and play together to make an even bigger group. And that's why I think that it doesn't have to be just a member of the Midnight Club. It could have been these guys too, who were not considered members. Well, I guess they are considered members of the Midnight Club if Hermione invited them, because she invited Hiram and Tom, and they were both on the other kind of team. But she didn't invite Daryl and Marty Mantle. Or was that just some kind of like omission, or they just couldn't come because of, I don't know, stocks? I would understand why Dilton's dad was not invited, because his son literally died. So I can understand why he's not there. Charmed Original, maybe Hal was trying to poison Fred because he was getting too close. He was getting close to Alice. Well, it seems like Hal and Alice really hadn't interacted before that point, at least from what we saw. I don't think Hal had anything to do with it. I thought that before I came on the stream. I was like, oh, maybe Hal had something to do with it. And then I'm like, but how could Hal have something to do with it? Because now he's literally in prison. And I don't think he could orchestrate this from prison, as apparently far-reaching as his grasp was. Hello, Oof. Welcome. Even if you're late, we just started recapping the episode. We got into it. We're about at the point where they're going to go crazy in the school, LARPing and everything like that. So far, the episode's been really good, and we've all been enjoying it and having a lovely little time. I'm glad you made it, though. Of course, Hiram, You make me laugh, Oof. Of course, Hiram is the kingpin as ever, and he's got the hot new drug that apparently very quickly faded out from the market, as it is no longer around in Riverdale, and Jingle Jangle is now the drug of choice. He's got fizzle rocks. And now both these groups are at this meeting. They're at an ascension party, as they call it. And they've all received these fancy invitations with calligraphy writing. Who has the resources and money for that? That's a question. Only rich people we've kind of seen would be Penelope and Hiram. So maybe Hiram does have something to do with this, because Hiram has something to do with everything. I don't think Hiram was in the mafia in high school, at least. I think he was, well, if he was, I think he was very low level. Hermione mentioned him being a self-starter, so I think he kind of started his own little empire here, and then Hermione was talking about wanting to get away from Riverdale earlier, and then when they moved out, they grew their operation into that kind of scene. I can never eat Pop Rocks again, said. Yes, you can. They're not drugs. They're delicious. What is your favorite flavor of Pop Rocks? I really like anything cherry flavored. But I also, when I was a kid, I used to really like the one that turned into bubble gum, which is also kind of weird. I don't know how they did that. Science. One of the interesting things about jumping right back in, one of the interesting things about the Ascension Party is that apparently none of the game masters set it up. So who was it? Which is once again setting the mystery of who is the Gargoyle King and who is doing all of this. Sorry, guys. Let me see if I have some water so I can stop dying. All right. Maybe that'll be a little better. Oof said, I love how sassy Alice was. Like, she was the best. And Alice was so okay with self-spilling her tea. That's true. I think Alice is realizing she has to be a better parent. And definitely seeing her past, I think, definitely softened me to her more after last episode. River Vixen 9 said, it's so funny. They made fun of Fred for never leaving Riverdale, but none of them left Riverdale. Well, Hermione and Hiram did leave Riverdale and they lived in New York until. So Hermione accomplished what she said she was going to. So I can't fault her for that. But Alice never left. FP never left, which also made me feel really bad because FP wanted to go to college. He didn't want to join the Serpents at all. He didn't want to ever drink. He wanted to get out and away from everything, which is kind of paralleling a little bit of Jughead as well, and kind of the cycles of poverty and abuse and everything. And now I'm kind of depressed about that, but let's put it aside. Sierra probably got away from Riverdale to college, but, you know, she came back. Penelope apparently became content to stay where she is in that situation that she's in. I'm not over the plot twist that Penelope grew up a Blossom because she was adopted by the Blossoms and groomed to be Clifford's wife. I'm still not over it, y'all. I'm not over it. I'm not over it. Who said Penelope was half, yes, my name is Miss Blossom and this is my real hair color. And the other is, shut up, you trash bag. I'm dating my stepbrother like Clueless. Clueless is one of my favorite movies, actually. What can I say? I love Cher. Both movie Cher and actual Cher, because icon legend, we stan. River 9, I love the line, have you ever seen Heathers? I have seen Heathers, actually, and I'm a big fan of Heathers the musical. In fact, I know a lot of those songs. I actually, ironically, have a blue blazer sitting in my closet, and if I ever don't have an outfit for Halloween, I know it can go with Veronica Sawyer. I want to say my favorite line, but I can't. I'm going to say it anyway. Fuck me gently with a chainsaw. Heather says so many iconic lines. Is Cheryl adopted? I don't think Cheryl is adopted because they rely very heavily on the fact that Cheryl and Jason were twins. So I don't think she was adopted. But I feel like Penelope wouldn't do the same thing that was done to her because it is kind of hella screwed up. Charmed Original. I wonder if Dilton somehow faked his death and he's actually the Gargoyle King, following in his father Daryl's footsteps. Oh, I like that theory. That could be interesting because we don't really know a lot about the Diltons at all. And it would be an interesting fake out, especially considering that Dilton is, and he's another iconic Archie character, and he was just he drank the fresh aid and was gone. All right, guys, let's jump back into Ascension Night. Basically, everybody gets high except Alice because she's pregnant, and while she may be a badass and get into tussles and fight, she's not going to take drugs while she's pregnant. All right, she has some standards. So everybody else gets high as hell, which, if anyone saw the musical clip before the episode and saw everyone dancing like crazy people, knowing that they're high makes a lot more sense. It makes a lot more sense. So the Fredheads have a little performance, and I did enjoy this performance, I will say. It was fun kind of seeing the Fredheads, and maybe a hint that later on we're going to get some of the Archies, maybe. Look, they have people that can actually sing in the show, so they could literally recreate 1969 Sugar Sugar by having some sort of original song of something. Maybe, if Riverdale wants to go there. We'll see if it can top the charts. Was Penelope high-key trying to date Sierra? It seemed that way a little bit, which was kind of funny. But Sierra only had eyes for Tom, as we saw. I did think they were really, really cute. And I do think they could work really well now, today. But, well, they are kind of together now. I like them. I'll say that. I like them. I think they're probably the most stable of the parents' relationships. And I thought it was really cute. We saw at the end that he was like, wait for me, all these things. Like, we'll wait for each other. It's not going to work out now, but hopefully in the future. So, Sierra and Tom wedding for season 4. I'm calling it. Hello, Omar. What if they introduce some sort of time travel and Archie and the rest of the gang travel to the time when their parents were young and try to find out who's the Gargoyle King? See, I love some shenanigans, so I would have a lot of fun with that. I would have a lot of fun with that if they did that. But I don't think they will, only because they are keeping everything very practical in Riverdale. And they're leaving all the magic shenanigans for Chilling Adventures of Sabrina as of now. Speaking of Chilling Adventures of Sabrina, Friday night, guys, I'm going to be live streaming, and I will at least be watching one episode live with you guys. So if you guys want to come and watch that, hit the bell, subscribe so you can kind of see when I'm going to go live. I'll also make an announcement on Twitter previously and probably also on the community tab on my channel, just so you guys kind of have a heads up if you guys want to come watch with me. I don't know if the king is time traveling, though. Is he? I feel like the Gargoyle King, could it still be why is it all these adults are tormenting these teenagers? Like, think about it. Clifford Blossom killed Jason. How was terrorizing the entire town, but also terrorizing his daughter. And now apparently another adult is terrorizing teenagers and trying to make them kill that. That's why I feel like maybe it's not an adult, or maybe it's someone picking up a legacy, or there's some, I don't think we have a clear enough picture to know exactly who the Gargoyle King is yet. Hello, Zed, Z. I'm very bad at pronouncing names with these in them, so I apologize, but I am good. How are you doing tonight? Hello, Brooke. I hope everyone's doing well as we continue on discussing and recapping this episode of Riverdale. I'm trying to work through this because I don't want to be on here forever tonight, and I do want to, have proper time to come down before I go to bed. I'll buy River Vixen 9. If you want, you can always, I will have this stream archived, so if you want to watch the rest of it, feel free to watch it when you get a chance. I didn't know that the song was from Nightmare on Elm Street. I'm not really a big horror movie fan, but I did like the song and I found it fun. I figured it had to be a song they were covering. So I did like it. So everyone's high, running around, and Alice is like not here for any of the shenanigans. She's here and she's just like, everyone's high. This is terrible. She's that person at that party that's not drunk and is just, she's regretting being there. And she, in fact, throws up, runs to the bathroom. And then we get the scene of all scenes to make you shiver tonight, even though it's post-Halloween. Who doesn't want a little fright before we get into merriment season? Though the radio stations and Hallmark seem to think that Christmas starts November 1st. Do you guys like Christmas starting this early? Do you hate it? Are you in the season? Do you even celebrate Christmas? Let me know. I want to hear. I want to learn about you guys. So Alice pops out of the bathroom, and apparently she didn't notice this because she was too sick. But everywhere, all over, is written... Oh, God. Sorry. I had a blank there moment for a second. It's like, flip the coin, meet your fate, all like written in lipstick, it looked like. And then we also see more of the Gargoyle King symbols and stuff. I think it's a rune. There was a rune guide that it was in some article, essentially, that they looked at what the rune said, and it had something to do with the Gargoyle King, essentially. Gargoyle King is out here doing his research, finding runes. Alice noped out of that. She didn't even... She was done with this game at this point. While everybody's still, like, going around, getting their gig on. She's like, I'm out. Peace. Peace, guys. But she sees Principal. Yep, I don't remember. She sees the principal, though, before she leaves. And she doesn't know what happens. And the morning she gets there, she thinks that everybody must have got expelled because she hasn't seen anyone. And then she finds out, and we find out that apparently Fred's dad died the night before. And Fred's taking it really hard, of course. I guess it's terrible. Like, you come home and you find out your dad died and that you weren't there when they died. Like, Fred is going through the ringer. Oh, that's interesting. Oos said, what if the drug takes over you and then the kids were the ones who wrote it? I mean, they were high, so I really think it was possible that it could have been any of them. But I do think it was the Gargoyle King, just because someone had to set this up, or maybe it is more than one person. It could be a pair. That's something Riverdale hasn't done yet, really, is having, like, a pair who've done this. Thank you, Featherhead, Principal Featherhead. I was really blanking there for a minute. But obviously someone was setting this all up. I don't know who. I don't really have a solid theory as to who is the Gargoyle King at this point. I don't right now. If you guys have any more theories, do let me know, because I would like to hear them. But we do find out that Principal Featherhead went missing and no one knows where he is or where he went. And they're kind of dealing with what's going on with that. And we get to see a scene about Fred's dad's funeral. And like I said, Fred was really beat up about it, and everyone's trying to comfort him. And somehow, because of this whole situation, Alice seems to sort of become a voice of reason about the game and everything, which at the scene at Pops, I really started to see how the adults were these teenage versions of the adult were becoming these adults in their future, because they were becoming more and more like them. Penelope was becoming far more aggressive as this time went on, but maybe that was always lurking underneath the surface. It seems like this game has brought out some of the best and worst of these people. And Alice seemed to be the only one who wanted to do the right thing, because once they find out at school, there's a bunch of flies flying around, and it turns out that Principal Featherhead was locked in the closet, dead. And, mind you, this is the same closet Jughead was sleeping in season 1. So that closet has history. I wonder if that poor boy didn't even know. I would hope it's been clean since then, though. I mean, it's been like 20 years, so fingers crossed. Omar says, my crackpot theory is that the Gargoyle King is Fred. Oh, I would be so sad if it was Fred, though. If only because, like, Fred is the best Riverdale dad, and if he went bad, I'd be sad. Charmed Original said, I think it has to be Hal Clifford or Hiram, who was the original Gargoyle King. Interesting. Oof said, what if the Gargoyle King is a demon from Greendale who was bored by all the witches in Greendale, so it went to a more fun target, Riverdale. See, I would like that for crossover purposes a lot. I would really enjoy that. And I'm still going to live in my crackpot crossover theories until it happens. But I guess I'll have to wait till I see the end of Sabrina to, talk more about that. It'll happen soon enough. I promise you, Sabrina will be finished before the new year. Actually, we're about to be on week 3 watching Sabrina, so we'll only have 2 more weeks after this of watching. So yeah, we might even finish Sabrina before December, which is good because then I'll get into all my Christmas movies that I need to talk about, because I do love a Hallmark Christmas movie, as cheesy as they are. I really want a crossover to happen. I feel like I really need Sabrina and Jughead to meet. I just need it to happen. I feel like they are so similar. They would just be on the same wavelength, and it would be good. It would be good. I would really enjoy it. I would really enjoy it. That's all I'm saying. Alice wants to go to the cops, and everyone's like, we can't go to the cops, blah, blah, blah. Mob mentality, essentially. But they all decide that, like, this game has got to go. Like, it's donezo time for this game. So they all decide to take pieces and essentially hide them in plain sight, bury the board in a Monopoly box, and burn the books. But obviously, someone had a copy, because otherwise, how would there be one now? My question is, though, is Griffin and Gargoyles a, like, nationwide game, or was it only something that happened in Riverdale? And why? I think that this could definitely feed into, like, the demon theory. I do think that the game could be some sort of mystical offcast from Greenwood that kind of made its way over here. And maybe that's why I could see that Griffins and Gargoyles was created by a witch or warlock. And that's why it's such an addictive game, because it's literally weaved into the fabric of it to be addicting. Because these witches in Sabrina aren't so nice. I mean, they're praising the devil. After you watch Sabrina, you gotta, like, say a little prayer and, like, cleanse yourself of that demon energy. Oh, they pulled I Know What You Did last summer, and it pissed me off now, and it pissed me off then. I understand. Oh, that's interesting. Charmed Original said, "Did you know the actress who plays Sabrina was actually the second in line to play Betty after Lily?" I can see that because Kieran and Choka has been around for a while, so that's kind of interesting. But I'm glad things worked out the way they did, and I feel like they worked out the way they did for a reason. I think she's an amazing Sabrina. I really am enjoying her character in that, and I think Sabrina and Betty are both very strong characters, so I think it really, works out in the end that they both got great roles. Is it like an evil boy? I think it's kind of like Jumanji in a way. I'm not thoroughly versed on Jumanji, but from what I know of it, it is kind of like that, except it doesn't trap you in the game. It just traps you in your mind. Creepy. Oh, can I imagine Lily playing Sabrina? Oh, I feel like everything would be so different if that was the case. That doesn't necessarily mean bad different. It would just be different. I think it would also be an interesting dynamic into if Betty and Jughead would have played out the same as they do, just because she is younger. I believe Kieran and Shipka isn't she like just 18 now or something like that? I just know that she's younger. So I wonder if that would have played into things a little differently regarding that. Let me see. Yeah. Oh God, she's like the same age as my sister. That's crazy. That's really weird. Okay. That just took me off guard for a second. Oh my God, oof. Don't do this to me. Oh, honey. Oh, honey. Oh, honey. The promo is crazy, mostly Archie and some maybe Kevin Archie stuff, but I'll wait for that tea. Honestly, I really couldn't keep track of what was going on in the trailer. I'll be honest. It was a little haphazard. I'll take a look at the extended trailer when it comes out tomorrow, and maybe it'll make more sense to my mind. But basically, what I know from the episode description is that Betty, it's basically Bughead and Barchi, and the girls are going to be essentially rescuing the boys, which I am here for. I am here for some role reversal of damsel in distress. We'll talk about it. So the Midnight Club disbands, all their friendships break up, and we see that all the members of the Midnight Club are fulfilling their destinies to become the parents that they are today. Penelope falls into her place, and she fully goes into Penelope Blossom mode and is ready to be with Clifford and is going with her grooming, and I was kind of disappointed. But, that's how it worked out. Fred decides to give up his guitar and work for his family business, which I thought was so sweet and kind of honoring his dad in a way. I'm sad for Fred. I want good things for Fred. Can Molly, not Molly, oh my God, Molly Ringwald as his wife. Oh my God. It's late, y'all. It's 10 a.m. Apparently, my brain is sapped from work today. Basically, let's give Fred some good things. That's what I would like. FP just basically FP sadly falls into the cycle of terrible. I was sad watching this scene as he puts on the serpent jacket and starts drinking, and I was just like, oh my God, no. Baby, we didn't want this for you. If they never played this game, what would have happened? Or if they had stopped at a different point, if one thing had gone differently, how different would they all be? Let me know your theories about that. Alice, I find it interesting. Alice and FP kind of did a role reversal throughout this episode. FP was all about being straight laced and, not wanting to be a serpent or anything like that. And by the end of the episode, he's a serpent and he's fully in this and he's drinking and he's doing all the things he said he would never do. And Alice, who was full on ride or die serpent, ready to do whatever she needed to do, I did like her outfit though. I did like her pink outfit. Is dressed like a prep, has become straight laced throughout this and is now hitting on Hal and like setting up a good plot there. With the baby. I put my hand on my stomach, but you only see this much of me, so that didn't really work out. I found it sad that their friendship broke up though, because if even a few of them had remained stronger friends besides FP and Fred, once again, like how different could all their lives have been and how differently could things have worked out for them. All right. Oof, tell me what you saw. I mean, I saw the promo, but you can tell me what you saw. I'm down for that. I keep up on what's happening in all the news of upcoming Riverdale episodes, so I'll listen. I love preppy Alice Smith, not Cooper, because that is a lot. Alice Smith is a HBIC. She's a boss bitch. She's in charge of herself. She knows what she wants, and I want more of her. All right, I'm ready for HBIC Alice to come back. I'm already tired of the farm BS. She better step her pussy up. That's what I need. Okay? That's what I need. IDKY, but I thought Alice would be the one who would be the abused one. Also, is she from the South Side or no? Because she talks as if she's not. I think Alice was definitely from the South Side. She knew enough about FP to know he lived there too. So I don't doubt that she was from the South Side. But I actually had the same theory that I would have thought Alice was in a situation like that. But I do feel like it really does make sense for FP's character and seeing the way he is now based on, the parenting he's seen, he's had, he's trying to be better than his father. And I guess he's better than his father was, debatably, but that's a whole other complicated issue. I really wish we would have seen some of Alice's home life. Because I crave that background knowledge. I really do. If Hermione stayed in Riverdale, do you think Veronica would be like comic Veronica or total bitch? I think if she grew up in Riverdale, I don't know. I still think she would have had a mean girl streak. I think she probably would have been good friends with Cheryl Blossom. Maybe a bit more comic-like, thinking she's better than people. But I'm not 100% sure. Maybe she would have been different. Chandra Original said, did you hear about the 4400 reboot now in development? No, I did not. I'll have to look that up. Thank you for telling me. Wait, oof, you saw that Archie and Joaquin kissed? I mean, I am down for that because we have not had enough of that representation. I mean, Betty and Veronica, kissed, and Veronica and Jug had kissed, and Betty and Jug had kissed, and Archie and Veronica kiss a lot and everything. And we've seen Kevin and Moose kiss, but like I'm down for more. I'm down for more kissing in Riverdale in general. Why not? It's a teen drama. They can kiss. Oh, and Veronica might have saw. I don't feel like Archie and Joaquin would just make out to make out. In all honesty, well, there's obviously a reason they're making out, and I don't think it's. Oh God, I don't think it's because they're locked in prison and they need to get their rocks over it. I don't think it's anything like that. It's probably to create some sort of distraction. It's probably to it's probably in some sort of plan, I'm thinking. But I'm glad we're just having more random people kiss. I hope I hope Veronica's wig's a little better this time. I mean, she has the money for it, so she should have a lace front, honey. Her edges were not laid last time. All right, so I hope they worked on that for this episode. That's what I'm gonna clock because I watched too much Drag Race. Oh, and if any of you love Drag Race, and if you haven't watched any of these Drag Race reviews, you need to get on it. Is Movie Bitches. Movie Bitches reviews are fantastic, amazing, everything. I aspire to that. I really do. They've been reviewing every season of Drag Race. They started with season 8 when that was currently airing, and they've been doing everything current through that. And they've also gone back and they've done season 1 of Drag Race, and they're currently on season 4, which season 4 might be the best season of Drag Race. I think it might be. I want a Kevin Archie storyline because KJ is done. I would like a Kevin and Archie storyline. I feel like that would be really fun. What do you guys think? Oh, we have a little bit more to talk about with Riverdale, and then you guys can ask me whatever you want, and we can talk about some random things for a little bit. All right. Betty and Alice are talking about, the Midnight Club, and Alice is like, don't play this game, don't investigate. Betty's like, Mom, I'm going to investigate. Have you met me? But she promises to not play the game, which Betty may go back on her promise next week because she goes to tell Jug everything she's learned. And in their private bunker, how dare he, are the Serpents. It's Cheryl, Tony, Fangs, and Sweet Pea, and Jughead, all down in the bunker, and they're playing Griffins and Gargoyles, and Jughead has become obsessed. Jughead has become obsessed. That creeped me out, where he's like, I've ascended to the 3rd level, and I'm going to ascend more, and I'm going to find out exactly what's happening. Patterns. So Jughead's going a little cuckoo because of this game. And I was like, yes, I'm here for next episode. Sign me up, baby. Sign me up. I am ready for Betty to save her mans. Oof said, the wig sadly did not live up to competition, but congratulations, Veronica is the winner in my book, kitty girl. I don't think Crazy Jug's going to be here for long, in all honesty. I think it'll be done pretty quickly, but I'm here for it for like an episode. That's all I have to say on that topic. That's all I got to say. Tell me what you guys are looking forward to seeing next week. Let me know if you guys have any questions for me. And then we'll wrap things up. Thank you, Riverdale, for tweeting out this GIF, though. I'm just going to show it because that's everything we need in life. Tony did not talk this episode, but I'm sure they'll talk next episode. There was only so much they could squeeze into the episode, so I'm glad they didn't have really any side plots in the present day, because I feel like there was enough going on in the flashback. And I did like the way they framed it up with Betty and Alice just having a conversation. If only FP could do that with his son, maybe he wouldn't have gotten suckered into this game. I'm still a little salty about FP, if we couldn't tell. Still a little bit salty. But once again, a reminder for anyone who's in here and who might not have been here earlier, I am going to be watching an episode or 2 of the Chilling Adventures of Sabrina this Friday night. So make sure you subscribe and hit that bell so you guys can be notified when that goes live. Because I do want to watch and discuss with you guys, because I think it'll be super, super fun. If a main had to die, then who? Okay, by main, do you just mean core four, or do you also mean including like Josie, Kevin, Reggie, like that kind of main? Because I don't know. At that point, I like them all a lot. And we can't kill Archie. And no, we can't kill any of them. We can't kill them. I can't. I can't choose. Sorry. I'm terrible. Maybe Ethel. We could kill Ethel. I know she's not a main, but we could. I don't know. Ethel's a confusing character to me. Just because she goes back and forth a lot. And I know people love her because she was Barb on Stranger Things, but Ethel has been interesting this season, I will say I do find her a little conflicting. What if Riverdale pulls a game-changing moment in the mid-season finale by having the series regular being killed is Jughead, so they focus on the Betty Archie. They would not kill. Okay, they would not kill Jughead off. It's just, first off, his face is plastered on how many Hot Topic merch, how many things at Hot Topic is his face plastered on. They know their fan base, they'd lose at least half of it if that happened. Also because Cole Sprouse is like, it's way too early for any like of the main cast to be leaving. I don't think any of the core four is going to be going anytime soon. All right, I think we got at least till season 6 before that's a worry. Especially because they already did a fake out of Jug at the end of season 2. So I don't think they would do that again, and especially so soon. How many seasons do you think Riverdale will last? I think at least 6. Right now, it's still going very well, and we're in season 3. I could see season 4 potentially losing momentum. I feel like it kind of depends how the show goes as well. I think season 3 has really upped its game and quality from season 2, especially the beginning of season 2. It seems like they learned how to balance a little bit more, and I feel like maybe some of the lessons they learned writing Sabrina, not that the writers of Sabrina are writing the show, but because Roberto's, overseeing everything, maybe that'll have some influence on how they also conduct on Riverdale. So I could see it going for a while. I think the actors will get work after the show. KJ's in The Hate You Give with Amanda Steinberg. Cole's doing, I believe it's a movie 5 Feet Apart, I believe it's called. It's the one he's in about cystic fibrosis. Lily's been doing stuff too, so at least those 3 I know have been doing other works outside of the show. I feel like a lot of them have been doing work outside of the show, so I feel like as long as they kind of keep that up and they don't have Riverdale being the only thing, they do some movies in the spare time, stuff like that. I feel like they'll have set themselves up well for the future. I think they all have a chance to have long, successful careers. Charmed Original said, so if it won't be the core 4, then who from series regular? Cheryl, Kevin, Josie, Tony, Reggie, Fred, Alice, F.P., Hiram, or Hermione? Maybe Hermione. I could see Hermione potentially dying, especially because she seems like she's starting to go against Hiram. Or I could see it being Hiram. I feel like it could be one of those two. Potentially. That's just my opinion. Would Riverdale be better on Netflix or the CW? I feel like if Riverdale was on Netflix, it would be a very different show. And I don't know if it would be the same as it is now. I feel like they would have a little more flexibility on Netflix than with CW, but I enjoy it on the CW because it's exactly the kind of like camp, fun, darkness that I want. It's like strange and still like fun. So I like it where it is. How do I feel about Kelly Ripa maybe joining the cast? I'm kind of excited, but I'm also a little conflicted. I don't think her role is going to be very big or for very long. I don't think she'll ever be like a series regular or anything like that. Hopefully. But I'm okay with her being in a couple episodes. You know, it's kind of a fun, like, oh, haha, they're like married in real life. Isn't that fun kind of thing? But I don't want it to like drag on for too long. I liked seeing Mark Consuelos. I liked seeing their son in this episode, though, playing a young Hiram, because I think that was a really kind of cool thing, and he looked very much like a young Hiram. But I don't think it'll be a forever thing, and as long as it's that, I'll be okay. All right, guys, it is after 10:30, so I think I am going to wrap it up here. Thank you guys who have watched this stream. Thank you guys who are watching this in the future. If you did like the stream, be sure to give it a thumbs up. Be sure to tune in on Friday to another live stream. And peace. Bye, guys. Ooh, there we go. I have 0 new subscribers.